that we talk to our clients about quite regularly is the opportunity to take Oracle Forms into that ADF technology and utilize some of the capabilities that you have with the application development framework. So just a few housekeeping issues. We're going to go through the presentation, and then on the right-hand side of the screen, you will see a chat, little chat room, and you are able to ask any questions you would like on that right-hand side of the screen through the keyboard, of course. And then at the end of the presentation, we're going to open up for Q&A, verbal. So if you have any questions, you can save those until the end as well. Feel free to ask questions along the way, and I will stop and answer those as they come through if you feel like you'd like to ask anything. And I apologize, we're just having a bit of a technical difficulty here. As I'm trying to move the slide to a... Just 1 second here. Okay, I'm sorry. I've got it now. So we're going to talk a bit about Microsoft itself, and you'll sort of hear a lot about our technology along the way, because we do have technology that converts Oracle Forms to ADF. But more importantly, we're going to talk about not only ADF, but also some of the tips and techniques for forms conversion. I think what we've heard in the market space for many years is that a lot of companies have talked about converting Oracle Forms to different technologies and how it's magic and how you can do that in a very fast and efficient way. And I think there's a part of that story that is definitely true, that you can convert Oracle Forms to other technologies automatically in some cases for a portion of the application. But I think it's also important that you weigh the benefits of converting those Oracle Forms out, and whether that's actually the best thing to choose for that application going forward is not only the end result, but also to be able to convert old technology to new. So we're going to talk a lot about that and some of the business drivers around converting and why you would choose to do that. And then we're going to talk a bit about some of the best practices in making that determination and what you want to do with your application going forward. Microsoft is an Oracle migration partner. We've been a part of the Oracle Forms migration community for almost 8 years starting in April of next year. We've worked quite closely with Oracle Develop Group as well as some of the Oracle modernization team to provide our technology to clients around the world. We have a very close relationship with Oracle, and our business is all around what Oracle offers in the future. We have a large number of clients in almost every industry in now about 25 different countries. And a part of that success for us has been around our relationship with Oracle. We are also a Sun and HP partner. They both resell the Exodus product. And Hewlett Packard Services is actually certified to be able to offer services globally for us and does that for us in many different communities. In fact, I'm with them in Europe next week with several of the clients that they're working with to convert their Oracle Forms clients to Java. So a very important piece of that is being able to have technology that works. The credibility of those companies being involved with us, we think, is very important because, as I said earlier, there have been a lot of companies who've talked about this technology for many years, but some of it has not really been that functional in what it offers. So let's talk a bit about Oracle ADF Faces, because I think some people are a little confused about what ADF does. We have some clients who've heard a little bit about it, not quite sure what it's going to do for them. Oracle had created ADF several years ago in the effort to assist clients as they get into Java with development of applications, as they as they either choose to stay with Forms or perhaps move into ADF as their development environment. And for those of you who have used Forms for many years, as most of our clients have, ADF has got some really great capabilities for developing applications as in the Java environment. We find that it is one of the most robust development environments available in Java. We use it internally within our own applications for our development environment. And the most important thing that we're finding with it is that it really has a rich set of user interface components. There are a large number of those components that Oracle has donated to the Eclipse Foundation, into open source technology, and in the process of that has really provided technology that is available for people to start that development for their applications. And of course, when you're using ADF, you have a choice of all sorts of different user interface components with things like data tables and hierarchical tables and color and date tickers, things that you can use not only that can be customized, but also reused in your application. There are within ADF itself, there are over about 100 AJAX-enabled components. And of course, as many of you know, the new middleware technology, 11G, has been released recently. There's some tremendous capabilities within ADF itself and the ability to move forward with very extensive development environments in that area. Data visualization and JSF support, JavaScript, drag and drop, really things that allow you to take that application and develop it in a fast and efficient way. And I think that's a really important piece as you understand what ADF is offering, is that the goal overall is to be able to develop an application quickly and efficiently at the same time that you're perhaps utilizing some of the original Oracle Forms technology or intelligence that you have within your organization. And of course, some of the benefits include data visualization components and a lot of user-friendly features, making it fairly easy for an Oracle Forms developer to start using that ADF technology as a way to build their applications. We find that our clients on the whole have a lot of Oracle Forms experience and a little bit of Java as they move closer and closer into Java. And I think one of the things that you find when you go into Java is that there are many, many different frameworks and development environments to choose from, and it can become quite confusing as you're trying to determine what you're going to do from a framework perspective for your application. To move from Oracle Forms to ADF is quite transparent in many cases for clients. In other words, if you have Oracle Forms experience, you're going to be able to really look at that new technology and be able to get into the development of that quite quickly. And of course, other benefits, you've got a WYSIWYG visual editor and some of the things that you've used within Forms in the past, but really a more object-oriented and J2EE approach. When you're looking at some of the development capabilities, one of the benefits of going to ADF is that you're able to get a really consistent look and feel for your enterprise applications and the ability to use interactive web pages and things like that when you're getting into that new technology. What your overall goal for using a technology like ADF is the ability to really take that application further as you go into the future. And one of the things we're going to talk about today is when you're using a tool like Exodus that we provide in conversion to ADF, is how do you take the best from your overall original application and move it into an environment like ADF while taking advantage of the rich features of ADF Faces. Now, just to stop here just for a minute, I had a question for someone here asking what's the coverage of the conversion from Forms to ADF on average and how much manual effort. Once we get through the ADF Faces discussion here, I'm going to talk about the Exodus product and how much effort is is required there. So we'll just hold off on that question, but we will get to that here in just a minute. So, some of the technical features I've got here on the screen, and for those of you who have actually seen ADF, you probably know this, but just information that you would be looking at for the capabilities of how you want to move forward with that application and the capabilities that you'll have with ADF. When you are developing an application in the future with Java, as I said earlier, the most challenging piece that our clients are running into is what they're going to do with that application for future. And many of our Oracle Forms clients started out in Forms 3. We're actually converting clients all the way back from Forms 2.3. And what they're saying is, they're trying to determine whether it makes sense for them to take technology that they developed 20 years ago and be able to convert it to something like ADF Basis and really take advantage of the features that something like ADF provides. So one of the challenges you have in converting older technology is being able to utilize that. But I think that as we go through this presentation today, you'll see that that's a really strong offering that we have within our Exodus product line, is the ability to take advantage, pull that business logic over, and at the minimum be able to replicate that business logic and perhaps use other features within ADF along the way. And then just some more of ADF features that we talked about. Now, when you get to ADF on the model side, you have all sorts of questions about all sorts of capabilities within the model: web services, TopLink, Java Beans, Pojo. Your overall goal in this conversion process is to be able to open yourself up to this type of technology that you can use, because obviously you want to grow with something in your application that will allow you to take advantage of other technologies as they come along in Java. Java is as mature and robust as it is still a very early adopted technology for many of our clients. And we believe that there are going to be a lot of other capabilities within ADF that are supported and provided, and within Java itself, that will allow you to do things that we can't even imagine at this point. If we look at what's been done with the Internet itself over the last 5 years, we can see that it's virtually completely different than what we thought we could do. So being able to use technologies that are available now but stay available to other technologies as they're developed is a really important piece for that application, so that you can grow it as new technology is available. We just received another question here that says we have over 2,500 forms which have been migrated to 10G. Now if we change to ADF, what about new development? I think that's one of the best things that we really see within ADF itself, is there's so much development capability and so much capability to be able to maintain that application going forward. So when you convert from, say, 10G forms to ADF, you're able to completely do new development with that application, enhance that application, take advantage of the capabilities of ADF with that converted application. So it's pretty easy to start new development in ADF while you're taking advantage of having those forms converted. And I think that when you look at the conversion process, your overall goal for any automated conversion tool, there are many goals we're going to talk about here in a few minutes, but one of the goals that you have is you're trying to leverage that investment that you've made in those 2,500 forms. So you've spent years and years custom developing that application, trying to enhance it and build business logic in that's all around how you run your business for most of our clients, mission critical applications. And the overall goal is to take advantage of what you've built within that app, get it over to ADF so that you can continue development and new enhancements in the ADF environment. So it's pretty easy once you get it over to utilize ADF for your new development and just move on as if you were developing in forms. When you look at migrating forms applications, Just so you know, the person who asked the question, I will ask other questions at the end of it. Sorry for the disturbance. There's no problem at all. We're just going through step by step on the questions, so we're more than happy to answer them. So when we talk about migrating Oracle Forms applications, there are some challenges. The problem that we've seen in this forms migration market space over the last 8 years is that there have been a lot of people who have made claims that they have technology that works, or that, you know, and it's magic, and there's some way that you can press a button and you're automatically going to have all these forms converted and everything's going to be wonderful. And there's no doubt that the end result can be that really a positive experience. I mean, our clients are very, very happy with the result of using our products. But at the same time, I think it's really important to stress that in converting your Oracle Forms application, there are issues that you have to deal with, in some cases in manual ways, especially if you're going to an HTML environment. So there's some happy medium between saying that this is extremely easy and you can convert 1,000 forms a week versus it's very, very expensive and going to take years and years. The overall goal with a tool like ours is to take a 5-year project down to 8 or 10 months. That doesn't mean that you still have to test and all the things that you normally have to do, but your overall goal is to be able to get that business logic from the original Oracle Forms app into the new environment, making sure that the code is clean and structured so that you can start maintaining it as soon as it's converted, and really giving you the choice of having a similar look and feel to the original application, or perhaps have a brand new look and feel to the application, but still pulling that business logic. So in looking at technology like ours, what we believe is really important is the ability to retain that investment that you've made in that original Oracle Forms application, but giving yourself some choices as you're moving into a new environment like ADF to take advantage of that, but still pulling that business logic over. From our perspective, we think that's what really differentiates ourselves from other companies in this market space. We didn't take any shortcuts in the development of this technology, and we continue to enhance it and utilize new ADF components with our ADF version, and make the conversion tool more automated in what it does. Our overall goal is to have clean, structured code as much as possible in Java, but have the applications pull that business logic across, be able to utilize that, because most of our clients have spent years and years developing that, and then have the option to have a similar look and feel, or perhaps a brand new GUI interface to it, but utilizing the business logic at the same time. So you do have challenges in migrating those forms applications, but when you're utilizing a tool that really works and is proven like Exodus, we believe that it takes the risk out of the project, allowing you to get to the market with your product as quickly as possible. So when we talk about that, what we tell clients is Exodus is not a black box. It is at a very high rate of conversion, and we had the question about the coverage of the forms and how much is manual effort. Our product itself, in going to ADF, is at about 85% automation. And that is not, from our perspective, in many cases, it's not a problem with the tool, because when we go to, say, a Java plugin, we're at about 97 or 98% automation. That is more a difference in the way that HTML runs applications versus the client-server environment. So when you're using the differentiation of how much manual work is required, that really is dependent on your application, how complex it is, whether you want to map function keys as you had them originally, or whether you can use those in a different way. So there's all sorts of pieces that come into play there. But we have benchmarked our product to be at a minimum of 85% automation in going to ADF, and that's really, for many of our clients, has helped them, again, from taking a 65 man-year project down to about 10 months 2 to 3 people. So in talking about reducing conversion time, the goal is to take that project down to a lower scope, but also to take the risk down, as you would have with a rewrite, more risk and in comparison to when you're using an automated tool to be able to do the same thing over and over again. Your overall goal as well is to be able to take advantage of 11G and ADF immediately, because there's some great components that are available there that can help you in your development environment, and being able to use them right away really helps you in retaining that business logic, but also going forward with things like SOA and VPOL and some of the other things you want to do going forward. So one of the questions that we received just recently here on our chat is there's a question about using JSF, but not the BC, and I suppose that is the BC4J components. So we have 2 different versions of Exodus. One of those is using the open source technology and the components within ADF, JSF ADF that are available. We also have a new version that's being released at Oracle World that uses much of the BC4J components. So you have choices when you're going to Java with Exodus of being able to go to straight JSF with ADF, or you can go into the more specific components of BC4J. So when we talk about the capability to automate, as I said earlier, we have several versions, but our ADF version is really utilizing ADF bases and taking advantage of the capabilities there. So all sorts of different ways that you can use Exodus. One of the questions that we've gotten here is, can Exodus be used to convert forms into struts 2.0, and yes, we have done that for clients and allowed them to do that conversion themselves, or we've done it for them as well. I think another one of the differentiations for us as a company for what we're offering is that not only do we offer a product, so we sell the product with about 3 to 5 days of training for our clients to show them how to do the conversion themselves. We also do front-to-end conversion projects. So when we talk about that, whatever the manual percentage is, if it's 85% with the ADF version, that manual work is included with what we deliver. Our delivery of services for a conversion project to ADF is 100% based on the delivery of a deployable application ready for the client to user test. We go through unit testing. So that any type of manual work that's done, if we do the project, we take care of everything for you so that the end result is something that you can deploy and start using and maintaining immediately in testing. And another question that we've just received is a form generated by Designer. So we'll answer that privately. I think that's a separate question about something that we've done specifically. One of the questions we also received here is, what about the reports? So you have some choices with reports. One of the things that you can do with reports is you can continue to call them from the converted application as Oracle reports. We're recommending to our clients that they look at BI Publisher as an alternative as you go forward with your application. We can convert those reports to BI Pub for you, or we can show you how to do that yourself. So we're converting Oracle reports to BI Publisher for many of our clients. It integrates great into the ADF and Fusion middleware environment, and is really a strong offering for you as going forward with your reports. We have converted reports into some other technologies. If you have some specifically that you are looking to do, we can scope that for you and tell you what it would take to do that. But obviously we're all about Oracle products, so our overall goal is that you will choose something that Oracle has to offer. A lot of choices in what you want to do with that, but we can go through with you the benefits of each of those and what makes more sense based on your business drivers. Also, one of the questions that we've had is, do we provide coaching for doing the conversion? We provide coaching and training and support and whatever our clients want throughout the conversion process. So some of our clients, we do 3 to 5 days of training and they go off and do the conversion themselves. We sold a license to the government of Indonesia, and one of our partners did that conversion in about 3 months. It was a huge conversion of about, I think they had about 450 fairly complex forms, but they put just a huge chunk of people on the project because they had to get it done very quickly. So we provided support to them throughout that process. And it really depended on your requirements of what you'd like, but we're more than happy to provide coaching throughout the conversion process. Another question that we've gotten here is, can we still continue to use PL/SQL libraries? So we convert the libraries to ADF and to Java. We give you the choice of leaving your packages in the database or converting those. Most of our clients choose to leave their packages in the database because they get better performance, but it's entirely up to you what you'd like to do going forward. Object libraries, of course, are carried over. You don't have to convert those if you choose not to. One of the other questions that's been asked, and I think it's a really important piece, is can the conversion be done in phases? You absolutely can take a really big project and start doing it in phases. So you can run converted Java code with a forms application, 10G or 11G forms. You can run that together in an application, integrating together as you go along through the conversion process. So it's really reasonable for many of our clients who have a large number of forms to be able to take the progress of the conversion in a way that makes sense for them, maybe by module, maybe by application, maybe throughout the conversion process to be able to take it as it makes sense for you. We encourage our clients to do what makes sense for them from a business perspective. So the business drivers that you have for that application should drive how the conversion project is planned, rather than trying to, do everything all at once or do a big bang approach. If that doesn't make sense for you, it may make sense to do it in a progressive way overall as you go along and still be able to run it along with your Oracle Forms application. The other thing that we've been asked is Exodus just for conversion, or can you develop new modules? It is not a development environment. We do have a visual editor that allows you to drag and drop and move fields around in the converted application. I would recommend that you use ADF as the development environment once it's converted into the new environment, so that you can take advantage of the components and the new capabilities that you have within ADF and the Fusion middleware. And someone said that we just lost, my voice was just lost for 30 seconds, so I apologize for that. So we'll just move on here. I think we've gotten through our questions. So one of the things that's really important to us, I talked quite a bit about the code being clean and the ability to deliver a converted application that you can use immediately. For us, that is by far the most important piece. We've been developing conversion tools, legacy modernization tools, for almost 30 years. And what we found in that process is that our clients are large organizations with mission-critical applications, and you need to be able to start using that converted code as soon as you've run through the conversion process. So we've been very careful to make sure that the code is clean, 100% maintainable. As soon as it's converted, you can start maintaining that application. We have not used anything that's not standard. So we use JDBC for database connectivity. It's all native Java code. We're not wrapping forms and redeploying them. We are, using everything in the new environment that allows you to take advantage of capabilities of technology like ADF. And one of the things that we believe is very important is if you're going to convert to an open environment, such as Java, you need to make sure that that you really are taking advantage of the things that you can in going to that new environment. So being able to not be tied to any environment that really is not standard with the industry is one of the risks that we see for some of the tools that we've seen come out in this space. Very important that you have that capability to move on with a technology like ADF. And so being able to use something that's very clean and easy to use is very important. Now, when you talk about going to ADF, there are some really opportunities for how you want to deploy the application. And in going to Java, you have all sorts of client options. We have many clients who are not able to utilize a browser for their clients. For some reason, they have some remote site that doesn't have a very high-speed line, and they need to be able to use the technology, but they don't want to have to be dependent on a browser. So Exodus gives you a lot of choices. It allows you to use HTML or DHTML using ADF Faces. You can also utilize that same code with a small 50K plugin that we provide you source code for. You can run it as an applet without a browser, or perhaps push out even to a character-based technology. We have some clients who have maybe handhelds that are in character-based still. All sorts of options, and I think that's the most important thing that you have to understand is that in going to your Java environment, you may have different requirements for your users based on where they're located or what their requirements are. Exodus gives you that choice by form, by module, by application, however you'd like to convert. And that's really standard within the tool itself, is giving you the choice of how you want to deploy that application going forward. So giving you those choices is real important because you need that flexibility. And then, of course, as we talk about ADF, of course, you have the choice of going to Java Server Pages, Java Server Faces, Sling, or ADF Faces with the ADF technology. So we've done in the last 7.5 years, we've done about 250 conversion projects for companies all around the world. And one of the reasons that we've tied ourselves so closely with Oracle and with ADF is because we believe, as I said earlier, that it's a really robust way for Oracle Forms clients to be able to start development and utilize it as they're moving forward. So as you look at the different technologies and frameworks that are available in Java, looking at something that's proven and that's been used and that is developed by a company with the technology capabilities as Oracle, I think is really important as a future direction. If you followed, as I have, I've been in this industry for 30 years, you follow what's happened with things like databases. 15 years ago there were many different databases available, and of course as everyone was trying to choose what they were going to do for a 4GL or a database, some people chose technology that's no longer available. As you're looking for future direction for your applications, you want to make sure that you're choosing something that's going to allow you to grow that application, but is also going to be available in the next 2 or 3 years and grow with your organization as you're doing development. So that's one of the reasons that we are so tightly entrenched with this ADF technology, is we believe it's a real strong feature going forward for companies as they're doing their development. The other thing that we believe is very important is the really building your conversion project around your business drivers. I can tell you right now that if your application is broken in your original Oracle Forms application and your user is unhappy with it and the business logic is not working, then it really makes more sense for you to rewrite your application. Most of our clients are not in that position. Most of them are very happy with the application but would like to take advantage of new technology, and that's why they use a tool like Exodus. So the business drivers for your applications are the most important piece for understanding what you're going to do, whether you're going to rewrite, whether you're going to convert a portion of it, how you want to move forward with your application development for the future. Many of our clients are very excited about going to Java and ADF, but they don't have the resources or just are not ready yet, and that's where we're doing Forms Upgrade to either 10G or 11G forms for them as a stepping stone to get them comfortable with those web services capabilities in that technology as they're starting to look at technology like ADF and developing as they move forward with Java. So those business drivers are a very important piece for that application. Our clients find that they're different for every application, really based on where they want to go with it. So we find that having the option to go different directions with those Oracle Forms is a very important piece for our clients. And just making sure that the resources that you have within your organization understand the future direction for that selected architecture. There are a lot of classes being offered on JDeveloper and ADF. There's a lot of technology training that you can get from Oracle or perhaps from partners like ourselves, where you can learn how to use that development environment in the most efficient way and get entrenched in that within the organization. We believe that there are really 5 key points to using an automated tool. Unfortunately, we've seen some tools come along in the past few years that they're automated, but the code that's produced is just not understandable. And we believe that really takes away from the overall goal of using an automated tool like Exodus. So with Exodus, we have 5 key points that are critical within our organization, and we stress these continually in the development of our product set. First of all, the code needs to be clean. And what's generated, clean code that you can understand as soon as it's converted. We don't want your developers to spend 2 or 3 months trying to figure out what's happened or where the code is or what it looks like. Understandable, so that your technologist can start maintaining and utilizing that application as soon as possible. Maintainable and functionally identical. And by that I mean in taking the business logic over, you're able to have the functionality the same, but as I said earlier, with Exodus you can choose to maybe have a different UI or have the same look and feel, whatever you choose. You really have that flexibility to choose how you want that application to look with Exodus at the same time that you're perhaps, for some of your users you're having the same look and feel. And then compact. Your overall goal in going to Java is not to have something that's going to cause a bigger footprint or cause you problems in maintenance. So those are the really 5 key points for us in producing real good technology. So I'm going to go back over to the Q&A because we've gotten a lot of questions. But I thought I'd get through the presentation and then we'll go from there. So one of the questions we have is, yes, we do have local delivery partners in the EMEA region. We do have a partner in South Africa. If you will email me, I'm just going to put my contact information here. I will put you in touch with our manager of EMEA, and he will coordinate that for you. We do have customer references in Europe, which he will provide to you as well. We won't get into those on the presentation here, but we'll be more than happy to provide those. We do have not what I would call a trial version of Exodus, but we do have a demo copy, and we can also do a POC for you. Exodus is a one-of-a-kind technology. We've, believe it or not, had people who've tried to hack into our server over the years, competitors, to get to what we've created, because we are still really the only company that's able to extract that business logic and do what we do for our clients. So we're pretty careful with the IP for it, especially in sending out trial versions. But we can work with you to help you, have a couple of forms of yours converted so you can see what they look like and be able to look at them and feel them and look at the code and things like that. So if you email me, what you'd like, then I'll put you in touch with our appropriate salesperson. The next question that we had was to have demo examples of how forms converted to ADF integrate with the rest of Oracle Forms applications. And we can definitely show you that. I'm not going to show a demonstration of the product today because we don't have the time to be able to do that. But we're more than happy to give you demonstrations over the web on a one-on-one basis. And feel free to email us if you'd like to have us do that, and we can show you how that the converted to ADF integrates with the rest of the Oracle Forms application. One of the questions that we've been asked as well is can on-site training be provided? Absolutely. We do on-site training for many of our clients. We have a project that's just going to be starting up shortly in Australia, where we're actually doing an upgrade project for an organization there on site. So we do quite a bit of work on site if that is more convenient, and we can definitely do on-site training or in our Sacramento office, in our Calgary office, or over the web. So all sorts of choices there of what works best for you. And then one of the questions that we've received here is constraints about bilingual forms. On the Arabic language, we've done some work there. I would suggest that as you look at the product, that we make sure that what we're doing in dealing with Arabic will work for you in the language for language conversion. So we want to make sure that what we would deliver for you would work, but we'd be more than happy to work with you to make sure that that what we deliver is what's going to work for you going forward. And persistence used with Exodus. If you will send me your email, I'll get you some technical information about that so that you can understand what we're doing there. And I believe we've gotten through at least all the questions there on the chat side. So we're going to open it up now for any verbal questions, as well as you can continue on the chat side if you feel more comfortable going that route. The next question that we have is, can the migrated web application be hosted on any web server, or it has to be hosted in Oracle's application server? It can be used in any application server. And one of the interesting things about ADF is that ADF can be utilized in any application server that's available. I will tell you that we've found much better performance and much better capabilities with Oracle's App Server and with the WebLogic App Server. And we can go through with you why we believe that's a really important piece. And why we use Oracle's application server going forward. But we'll be glad to work with you to talk about, what works best for you. The next question that we have is, what about forms built-ins? We convert everything from the forms that is supported in Java. So if there are built-ins that we can continue to call or continue to use in the new environment, they're converted. You'll run into things like go-tos in the original Oracle forms that Java doesn't understand, so those have to be taken out of the code before they're run through the tool. Where we find challenges in going to Java or ADF is more the difference in the three-tier environment versus client-server. So perhaps where that your host commands and some of the things that were used originally. Where they're run, of course, is and accessed is different than where they were in a client server environment. So we work with our clients to help them understand where best to deploy the app and where to put the different pieces as you're going forward. Anything that's supported in Java, we do convert as much as possible, and if we don't during the conversion process, or if you find it as you're using the tool, we will add that capability to the tool at no charge for you to be able to use for that particular issue that you found. The question was, we finished projects in the Middle East. We do have, I believe, one in the Middle East in Lebanon, but we will